Extinction Agenda, Part 4. This is Uncanny X-Men 271, and this book was a lot of fun. On YouTube, I've been not reading, YouTube, obviously. You watch reels. There's been a segment kind of floating around where Jim Lee was talking about how Psylocke, during this era, was kind of like a new toy for Chris Claremont, so he used her as much as he possibly could. And I gotta say, the times after Wolverine, when Jubilee saved Wolverine from the Siege Perilous, and they find out that Betsy has been taken by Shinobi Shaw, and I believe it's the Hand, they turn her into an assassin, save her, and the shenanigans that go on leading up to Extinction Agenda, where it's Jubilee, Psylocke, and Wolverine. Those are, to me, some of the best X-Men stories from my time period. Another thing that I didn't really know is Jim Lee said that Jubilee said that Jubilee was created in a sense to be like Wolverine's Robin, and I just kind of wanted to touch on that here. So let's get into it. Dramatis Personae, Jubilee, Wolverine, Psylocke. The Indian Ocean is in crisis tonight, thanks to the kidnapping from American soil by Genoshan magistrates of a number of children said to be mutants affiliated with the publicly acknowledged superhero team X Factor. The carrier battle group in that area has been placed on full alert. The president calling for both economic and diplomatic sanctions. The situation has not been helped by the reported death of one of the children. So if you haven't been following along, or if you haven't been reading, spoiler alert, New Mutants 95 Warlock dies to save the rest of X Factor and Storm. And that's kind of what has everyone in an uproar. And that's how I like how it leads into Flashpoint. And we see Boom Boom and Richter running for their lives from the magistrates. And it very much has that Days of Future Past feel about it. Prisoners, surrender immediately or be shot down where you stand. They mean business, Rick. I can't give up, Boom Boom. Now when it means being handed over to Cameron Hodge. Now I need to go back. I know who Cameron Hodge is. You know, he was the one that kind of helped start X Factor and pretended to be Warren's friend, but he was the one that orchestrated the amputation of Worthington's wings after the Mutant massacre, and deep down had prejudice against mutants and was trying to tear them apart from the inside. He dies, and then somewhere during Inferno, which we will eventually go over, he makes a deal with, I think it's Belasco or Sid, I can't remember, to basically be immortal. And that's kind of how we get the twisted version that we have. And there was some things that happened with Richter, which I'm not 100% sure with. Let me know down in the comments, but he just knows the evil that is Cameron Hodge. If only we still had our powers, we could blow those stinking magistrates out of the sky. So when they tried to save themselves, they were hit by Wipeout. So all of them, including Storm, did not have their powers. Enter the three that we were just talking about. And as you can see with this panel, where Wolverine's slashing through and riding in on Wolverine's back, you can very much see Jim Lee's, Frank Miller, Carrie Kelly coming out. Now, I'm trying to remember the documentary. I think it was, they're both on YouTube, I believe, or Tubi. One's called Chris Claremont's X-Men. The other one was called The Image Revolution. And I think it was the Image Revolution where Jim Lee was talking about when he was up and coming. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again for the sake of what I'm pointing out here. Lee said that when he was trying to break in at Marvel, he used to go run around a track by his parents' house. And while he was running, he said he used to do a chant to just try to get himself motivated. He would go, burn, Miller, burn, Miller. And so, with that said, introducing Jubilee as a stand-in Robin, essentially, you can see where Miller pays off in these panels, because you can just see that Dark Knight's 1988-89, touch with Jubilee. And just the way they break in. Sorry, sweets, nobody dies today. Firecracker explosions going off, can't see. That's the general idea, Major Crash. I'm not all half bad, if I do say so myself. Ease up on the mouth, motor mouth, kid. Pay attention to business. Hey, I can take care of myself. Thank you very much, Mr. Smart Guy Know-It-All. I was doing just fine long before I met you. Back then, Jubilee, you were solo. Now you're part of a team. Your actions have consequences for people other than yourself. Grandstand plays only end up getting the wrong folks hurt. Nice work, though, putting down that patrol. Now let's take them out. Jubilee's all enthusiasm and talent, making her moves on pure instinct. No idea what she's really doing. And praying the moves that she does are the right ones. Wolverine's the natural brawler, aided by bones that can't be broken, and adamantium claws that'll cut through anything. Fighting as integral as a part of his being as breathing. But as where his skills are raw, rough-edged, as fierce as his nature, Psylocke is the personification of power and grace, literal poetry in motion, where he's a more berserking battering ram, but no less effective. Perfect way to reintroduce the team, because from what I understand, X-Tinction Agenda was kind of Marvel's way of starting to bring the team back. Because up to this point, I don't know how long it had been, 5 years or so, everyone had been kind of scattered to the winds. And that was kind of Claremont's point, as he said he always wanted the X-Men to be revolving doors, but Marvel wanted the status quo, so we had to find a way to bring everybody back together. The fight is intense. That last charge was set on heavy stun. This time, you guessed it, Shorty, it's set to kill. Weren't you listening, Magistrate? As Jubilee said, no one dies tonight. And you just see that. Not even you. Psylocke, what'd you? My psychic knife. Focused totality of my telepathic powers. In this case, used to short circuit the magistrate's brain and remove her from the fray. That's how you bring about the teams. And then to just kind of sum up everything that's been happening, Psylocke asks them, Richter and Boom Boom, to open her mind to him so that she gets the full story. Now remember, when we went over the prelude, the ones that set foot on Genosha and kind of figured out what was going on with the mutates and essentially took the magistrate's son away after his fiancée was almost turned into a magistrate or to a mutate. It was Betsy, Psylocke, Longshot, Dazzler, Storm, and Wolverine, the Australian X-Men, essentially. So she knows what can happen. And after seeing the history, she goes, they separated Storm and Wolfsbane may still be within the Magistrate Citadel. But I also have a psychic sense of both X-Men and the whole of X-Factor on the island. So Wolverine tells Jubilee to take the kids off to safety. He goes, the stakes are too high, and the opposition too dangerous. You want to survive, you swallow your pride and do as you're told. So this book essentially follows Wolverine and Betsy. However, we do have some quiet moments with the Gingineer. After he has a very verbal slugfest with Moira McTaggart. What does she say? She says, are you threatening me now, laddie? Figure. You now have your feast of babies. You'll try a taste of the grown-ups. Now, one thing, I am kind of having a brain fart here. Help me out, because the new X-Men, the new X Factor, was first introduced in '70, and then made the team premiere in '71. I believe after the X-Tinction Agenda, the next big event was the Muir Island fiasco. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially the Shadow King takes over everyone on Muir Island. The new X-Men, Jamie Madrox, Moira, all of them. Now, look at how Moira's dressed and how she's kind of quick-witted. And he says, where is it at? He cut the broadcast because he's debating with her. And where is it? Hold on a second. I was watching Moira McTaggart on the monitors. Did anything about her strike you as odd? Aside from the fact she seemed to want to tear out my heart with her bare hands, I never imagined the woman could be so fierce in those clothes. I noticed that too. Quite an extreme departure from the profile we have on her. So I'm wondering, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's Claremont and Luis and Nasanti's way of kind of teasing what's happening on not Genosha. What's that place called? Your Island. Too many places to try to keep up. But I just like these subtle buildups. And he goes, "What happened, Philip?" This is the son who left. He goes, "Why did you refuse to understand? All your life, you never once thought of the mutates, whose talents make us a prosperous, self-sufficient nation, the envy of the world. Only when your girlfriend tested gene positive and was called for service, only when you yourself were personally affected did this society become oppressive, and your father some kind of born-again Nazi. Do you think it didn't hurt me to do my duty? Curse you, boy, she was my goddaughter. All I've done, my son, I've done for my country to make possible the best futures for its children. And if some of those children must be sacrificed for the greater good of that society." And I always think, I know this is supposed to be a very serious, deep moment, which it is, but I can't help but think of Edgar Wright's film Hot Fuzz, when the town kind of becomes a little cult, and they go, "For the greater good, the greater good," and that's just ever since that fucking movie. That's all I keep hearing whenever people say, "For the greater good, the greater good." But as he's self-reflecting, how ironic, as I see this situation in precisely the same way. Storm, whatever happens to me, Moro, at least Genosha's Gingineer will no longer create any more mutates. I'm not your enemy, Storm, it's Hodge. Because building up to this, since the beginning of the actual Extinction Agenda, Hodge has been seeing, not Hodge, the Gingineer has been seeing how Hodge has been playing the president. And while, of course, he has his own machinations going on. So he's trying to, in a way, make a deal with Storm, saying, "I'm not your enemy, so the enemy of my enemy is my friend." However, well, what, pray tell, do we have? And Hodge just looking freaking monstrous. Does this, I wonder, come under the heading of timely interruption? How lovely to see you again, Windrider. Must be kismet, the way our fates seem to intertwine. This time I think I'll make sure you stick around. Good Lord! And before Storm can do what she came to do, it's captured. Now Betsy and Wolverine are trying to infiltrate the magistrates. However, their cover gets blown thanks to Havoc. And we know at this point, Betsy sent everyone through the Siege Perilous because the Reavers took over their base in Australia. And it was at that point where Betsy became merged with Quanon. Peter lost his memory and became a painter in New York City. Longshot, I believe, ended up in Mojo World. Dazzler kind of lost her memory and became a star in Hollywood. Storm became a little girl and met Gambit. Wolverine was not with them, so he got stuck fighting the Reavers, and that's how he met Jubilee. And then Rogue got earlier sent into the Siege Perilous and kind of had an internal battle with Ms. Marvel and ended up in the Savage Land with Magneto. So everyone kind of got scattered in that regard. I was going somewhere. Oh, I was going somewhere with that. But up to now, we had no idea what happened to Havoc. He just kind of disappeared. And we come to find out that the person that Psylocke knocked out with her psychic knife, that was Havoc's girlfriend, essentially. And he goes, "Morg, wait up. I caught an incident report tagged with Tam's identity. She's here, Summers, but keep it quick, lovebirds." Summers. Lovebirds. Bye-bye bluff. Havoc! What is this? You're not... Nor are you quite what we anticipated, Alex Summers. Our former teammate is a magistrate through and through. Then we got no option but to treat him like one. And I love Jim Lee's work. Speaking of which, I know, we are deep into the book, but I completely forgot the credits, which, where the hell are they? I don't know where they put them in this book, guys. Oh, it's right here. Just like the Days of Future Past. I forgot they got thrown up into the paper. So words, Chris Claremont. Pencils, Jim Lee. Inks, Scott Williams. Colors, Glennis Oliver. Letters are Tom Orzganowski. Bob Harris, editor. Editor-in-chief, Tom DeFalco. So big names. And I always loved these early 90 ways that Jim Lee did faces. And I always loved the negative look. Like, when Havoc would channel his power like this, and then he would kind of get the more black on his shirts, and then the whites kind of being the negative contrast. Security alert, more X-Men in the Citadel. Whoever you are, you're wearing my lady's uniform. And if you harmed her to get it, I'll make you pay. Brilliant. Summers took out a main power coupling with that blast. The entire sector is dark. Whose side is he on anyway? Infrared scan. 3-man teams. Full auto mag, shoot to kill. Right orders. Smart moves. You're good, monkeys. But I'm better. Especially when I'm mad. Get out of my way. Give me a clear shot. Be patient, bub. Your turn's coming. Give it up, boy. I'm no boy, old man. I pop these claws, you'll need a whole head. Not before my plasma blast sears the flesh clean of your bones. Why is it? You men always seem to talk in macho slogans. So, of course, Psylocke hits him. Better I let the Reavers slay him months ago. Send him through the siege perilous to become this. Figured your psychic knife shocks some sense back into him. Impossible to know. It depends on how firmly he has embraced this new reality. Do you have any traces of Storm's scent? But before they could really find Storm, Hodge. No need to bother the bouncing berserker about that, my dear. As you can see, he's otherwise occupied. I'll be more than delighted to answer for him. But forgive me, how boorish of me to forget my manners. I'm Cameron Hodge, and you all wager are Psylocke. Bye-bye to the nice lady Wolverine. When next you see her, assuming I leave your eyes, I doubt she'll look anywhere near so pretty. Talk is cheap, bub. And when we X-Men don't get nailed anywhere so easily. Nasty, nasty, you are shaming for all the good it does you. And so the end of this book is just a slugfest with Hodge. But it ends on a very questioning note of what has happened to Storm. So guys, on Uncanny X-Men 271, things really begin to pick up in Genosha. So if you've been following along, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you have, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comics, and try to either get the individual floppies or the collected trade, or as I say, like with this, support your local. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate it. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next subscribe, that way as I get temporal content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or the socials, which I'll make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.